So hi everyone, we have Harsha here with us, and today he is going to share his interview experience for Capgemini. So Harsha, tell me about yourself first.
Yeah, hi, my name is Harsha. Born and brought up in the Garden City of India, Bangalore. I'm currently pursuing my bachelor's at Ambedkar Institute of Technology in CS. So I think with good data analytical skills and good leadership skills, I think I have a good start off in this flexible work environments also.
Okay.
And I just have a goal to be a good experienced engineer and make good contributions to the company and industry.
Okay. So let's begin with your Capgemini interview experience. So was it an on-campus or off-campus drive?
It was an on-campus drive.
Okay. So what was the platform used for your exam?
The assessments which you had to go through was on CoCubes first.
Okay. And the platform used for
And
interview?
that was on the Superset platform.
Okay, Superset. What was the role offered to you?
It was a role of analyst, just the analyst, with a package of 3.8 lakhs.
Okay. So let's move to your number of rounds and your round one. So how many rounds were there for this drive?
There was just one round. So
That's all.
and in that round, yeah, in that single round.
Followed up by your interview.
Yeah, followed from interview.
So what was the name of this round? As an online test, basic online test that is conducted like in all the exam platforms.
Yeah, it's just a cognitive technical ability test or programming ability test. So it had a mixture of both. So technical and cognitive ability test.
Okay, how many sections were there in this round?
There were basically four sections, but the fourth section had subsections in that.
Okay.
So
can you name them?
the first three were like the programming logic, which had just MCQs, and then we
Pseudocode
had
basically.
Sorry.
Pseudocode basically.
Yeah, pseudocoding with MCQs. There was no coding there. So after that, we had a mixture of logical reasoning and numerical ability. And after that, we had the English round, which is the third one. And after clearing the English round, we had to go to a gaming round, so which had subsections of different games.
Okay.
So I
game
think
based aptitude basically. I guess there are 4 questions in this particular game based thing. Game based.
Yes. Yeah, there are different games. Yeah.
Okay.
And as you complete the rounds, the difficulty increases. So they'll give you a specific predefined time. So in that time, you should complete as much as games as possible. So and depending on that, your score is assessed.
From this round game based aptitude test, do you remember any questions or what were the type of questions?
Yeah, there were a few questions like a puzzle, and there were a few memory tests also. You had to remember a few dots or the positions of the dots on the screen.
Okay.
And there was a game where you had to move the ball to the destination with minimum number of steps as possible. So some thinking was required there. And there were some questions which required you to calculate what would be the next step. So there are certain symbols, and you had to say what is the next sequence.
Okay.
So and there was another round where you had to there's a Sudoku puzzle also. So they just give you a question mark on the Sudoku, and they were expecting you to say what symbol is here, depending on the other parameters of the Sudoku. So those were the rounds.
Okay. Any psychometric kind of test?
No. That after the gaming, there was just a basic round of just how to see your work culture. There were just a few questions of what is your how do you see yourself as an organized person, and there were a few basic questions on your mentality regarding to laziness, or how do you approach difficult works, and how do you manage time. So
basically I can say that was a kind of behavioral test.
Yeah, there was no other test, only the gaming and the behavioral test.
Yeah, kind of a psychometric test, I can say. You have to just choose any option from that. Okay. How many questions were there in this round, behavioral test?
There were 100 questions totally. Okay. So I think you were given a time of 25 to 30 minutes, so you can complete 100 questions.
So was this an elimination round?
No, I think if you get through to this round, it's almost done. So this was just a non-elimination round. Just to know a little bit more about you, they just conduct this last round.
Okay, so this depends. Like you have to figure it out, like how you are going to be in the element, like in the psychometric test. It's the last section of that round one. So you
Yeah,
have to clear all other round pseudocode and your game based aptitude and other
yeah.
English
Especially
test.
the first three rounds is very important.
Okay.
I think the gaming rounds also you will be given scores.
Okay.
So all of the four rounds is important.
Okay.
Whereas the last behavioral round, I think it doesn't matter, but you still have to give your best in that also.
Yeah, but I think that matters because so many companies are considering this
Yeah,
psychometric and
yes,
behavioral test to test your knowledge, like how you are going to work on in a work culture and what's your thinking. So this is the main part these days in the recruitment process. Okay, so after this round, you move to your technical interview, or I can say your technical HR interview.
yes.
Okay, so was it on the same day or some other day?
It was like after 20 days, so it was on a different day.
Okay, so how many panelists were there and what was the platform for this?
It was on a superset platform, and there was only a single panelist.
Okay.
So he introduced him to me. So his name and his position in the company, and he just started off the interview straight away.
Okay. So what were the questions?
Yeah, starting off, it was tell me about yourself. So I had to talk about my college, my skills, and I had to mention about my projects also. So when I mentioned about projects, he started asking a little bit more about it. So how many members are there in a project?
What
So I
was
just told him
what
that.
was your project?
Yeah, so I had three different projects. One was e-commerce application, and the second one was embedded system project. Even though I'm from CS, I had to do some hardware, and the third one was also a web application.
Okay.
So he just asked me what are the number of members in each of the projects. So I just had to tell that two were individual and one was a group project with another member.
Okay.
And the next question was just on the internship.
Okay. So questions based on internship. So what did
Yeah.
he ask about your internship?
So I just told him where I did my internship and for how long. He told me that okay, what was your role and what was the software based on. And I told him that this was based on a speech recognition system. And he got intrigued, and he started asking questions of some basic questions of why what is the need for the speech recognition. You already have a GTS engines of Google, but is this a separate software of the company? So I told him yes.
So
And
he
then he asked
asked
me,
a lot of
yeah,
questions regarding to your like internship and your resume, based on your resume.
yes, yes.
Okay.
So they ask you what is the purpose also. What is the purpose of the project and the internship. So they go deep in that.
Okay. So you were just only asked about your interview, I mean your internship and then your basic resume questions. That's it.
Yeah, it was purely resume and your internship.
He didn't
Not
ask
much
you
of
any
technical.
questions related to data structure, Java, and any other subject, DBMS, SQL.
No. My interview did not ask me about those things.
Okay, so this was all for this round, I can say.
Yes, ma'am. That was all for the technical.
Okay. And what about your HR?
HR was simple. The HR was like
On
starting
the
with the same
same
question.
platform?
Tell me about. Yeah, it was on the same platform.
Okay.
So the HR was like, "What are your strengths and weaknesses?" And he asked me, "Why do you want to choose Capgemini for the sake?" So, and regarding that also, he started asking me about my goals. So since you're a beginner right now, you're transitioning into a professional. So what will be your goals in this company specifically? So I had to answer a bit of that. Like I had to learn from my seniors in the company, learn new technologies, and make sure that I'm in different kinds of projects there also. So that was basic about this. And then finally, he had to run me through about the CTC
Okay.
and whether I'm flexible to work in different locations or different
time
timelines.
span. Yeah. Okay.
And there was one informal question also in between that. What is your favorite IPL team? I was a little bit surprised, but
What is?
just one informal question. What is your favorite IPL team?
Okay.
So since I mentioned about my hobbies, while I told about myself, I told cricket. So he asked me a single question about what is your favorite IPL team? So
Okay. Okay. So based on your resume, he asked about your favorite team. So what
yeah,
you answered for that?
yeah, it was RCB, hands down.
Okay.
So Bangalore team. Yeah,
Okay. So this was all for your HR interview.
yeah, that was all for my channel.
Okay. So after that, you received mail that you have been selected for this particular company and for this role designation. Okay.
Yeah, we got to list in the college that these were people who selected.
From your
But
placement cell.
yeah, from the placement officer. Yeah.
Okay.
And after
So
that, you receive the
offer
letter of
letter.
intent after a few
Okay.
months. After a few months, yeah.
Okay. Any other thing that you want to share or discuss with us regarding Capgemini?
Yeah, Capgemini is very smooth. Some interviewers they vary in their questions. So some may be the interviewer. If the interviewer turns out to be a technical manager, you might ask a little bit more about your resume and some technical questions. But sometimes they just ask on your communication skills. If they just like your communicative ability, they just talk to you informally. So if you just go on answering the questions in a calm way, they just ask you, you know, more
So basically,
informal
they are
HR way.
checking your
Otherwise, it will be a
communication
technical
skills in
interview.
this interview.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So thank you so much, Harsha, for sharing your interview experience for Capgemini also, and all the best for your future.
Thank you.